Spurs win! Spurs win! Spurs win! That is the biggest win of the season, obviously, because the Spurs beat the team with the best record in the NBA coming in tonight. Spurs beat the Golden State Warriors 112-107. Bill Schoening on postgame. Let's listen into Bill Schoening. I'm Chris Duel along with Michael Bartlett. Welcome in. Jared Taylor, you got in here real early, Jared. Welcome. Here we go. Played 14 minutes, had 2. And Woo! Scored 7 points. 4 in a row for the Spurs. Welcome, David. PJ Hoops, Jason Paniagua. Led by Steph Curry, who had 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. But Curry was 7 of 28 from the floor and 5 Bill Schoening with postgame from 3-point range. Brian Birdie, Michael Rodriguez, John Williams, Patrick Burns. 11 points for Andrew Wiggins. He was just 3 of 9. Spurs are back, baby. 9 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds. That's a typical Draymond Green line. He averaged 8 and 8. 2 points and 3 4 in a row. On Looney. Off the bench, Damian Lee had 14. Juan Toscano-Anderson had 13. Gary Payton II had 4, 9 points for Nemanja Bjelica on 4 of 6 shooting, and 3 points for Chris Chiozza. That adds up to 107 for the Warriors, 112 for the Spurs. And again, the Spurs improved their record now to 8-13. Season best 4-game winning streak. Mariana, Chris, Christian, Nicole, Leland, Taro. Spurs Radio Game Night Monday evening as we remotely broadcast from here at the AT&T Center. The final score, 112. Yes! 7 Spurs over the Warriors. That's what I'm talking about. Rooting for the family. Spurs are back. Woo! In Pop, we trust. These young Spurs, we've been saying it all year. They would learn how to win. And it got ugly there in the fourth quarter for a while. Mary Anthony, the Spurs good luck charm, Brian Zuniga, Doris, a huge San Antonio and Austin Spurs fan, Mike Cruz, Rod Campbell, Jeremy, David, Emilio. Emilio says, heck yeah. Bob Rushing, please, says Bob, clueless announcer. Thank you, Bob Rushing. You're a beautiful man. I love you too. Yes. Yes. 1 or 2? Introducing the double steak. Oh no, just 1. You're normal. Okay. Woo! Oh, Falin joins us from Singapore. I'm waiting for him to record. Taro. If not, I'll play you Derek White. When it comes to home, okay, gotcha. Life insurance, there's no better combination to have. Oh, Falin from Singapore. Taro Kotani joins us from Tokyo. Yeah, I know, Brian. These Spurs fans who are so spoiled and don't understand what's been going on here and don't understand the talent level of this great Spurs team. Don't understand that you've got Craig Popovich, R.C. Buford and company at the helm, choosing these players who are amazing. And this was the Golden State Warriors template. They were built by good player personnel, good drafting, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green. Here we go. Johnson free throw now is on the way. And this one is off the rim. A good rebound. Poked out front. Grab by the Spurs. Walker's got it. Left wing three. White. All right. D. White nails that left wing three. And the Spurs take the lead 107-106. Off the loose rebound, off the missed free throw. 22 points for Derek White. 107-106 Spurs. What an amazing late three-point shot by Derek White to bring the Spurs back into the lead after the Golden State Warriors were fighting back throughout the fourth quarter to take the lead, which they did. A great win tonight for the San Antonio Spurs on the road at the Chase Center in San Francisco against the Warriors, who came in with the best record in the NBA. Bill said it earlier. I absolutely agree. Biggest win of the season thus far for the San Antonio Spurs. They beat the Golden State Warriors 112 to 107. Programming note on the flagship station, Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. Our Spurs React is coming at you both over the airwaves and on 1200 WOAI's Facebook and Twitter pages, where we have an international audience once again from Tokyo, Japan, from Singapore, and all across Texas and across America. Michael Bartlett and I will be bringing you Spurs React in just a moment. First, let's update the 6 other games in the NBA today and tonight. Final from Brooklyn. Bulls beat the Nets 111 to 107. Bucks got a home win over the Heat 124 to 107. Grizzlies only won by 7 over the Mavericks. The other night, they won by 73 over the Oklahoma City Thunder to set an NBA record. Tonight, and that was in Dallas, Grizzlies beat the Mavericks 97 to 90. Earlier today, the Knicks, check that, the Nuggets beat the Knicks 113 to 99. 2 games on the West Coast that are at halftime. Halftime in Portland, the Celtics lead the Trailblazers 64 to 58. And the Clippers lead the Kings. Check that. The Kings lead the Clippers. 50 to 45. We are coming at you with Spurs React after a quick wrap-up from Bill Schoening at the AT&T Center, where he broadcast remotely tonight as the Spurs defeat the Golden State Warriors in San Francisco, 112 to 107. Spurs Radio continues in a moment. Hector Gomez.
Tap into your team with the official Spurs
John
app.
Williams.
Our digital arena.
Yeah, that's a record. Consecutively, the Spurs have just busted 2 10-game home winning streaks. That's never been done in NBA history before. Scott Rodriguez, Sergio Lozano, Brian Zuniga, Joanne Hernandez. Joanne, how you like the Spurs now? Joanne's been having a hard time this season. We love you, Joanne. But Joanne's been in here after some Spurs losses, not doing real well. A little bit disconsolate, which is okay. I get it. Rubiana Haney. Yeah, Jakob Poeltl is tremendous. Adam Gomez, Spurs win, Cowboys win, UTSA wins. What a weekend. Adam Gomez, you're so right. My goodness. Yeah, I could have done without the Alabama win, but oh well, I'll take what we got. Brian Birdie. And Brian points out, Brian Birdie's a huge Spurs fan. He points out the last time the Spurs busted back-to-back 10-game winning streaks was back in 1993, and no other team has done that. The Spurs have done it twice. It's never been done by anyone else in NBA history. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. All right, here's Bill with a wrap.
Liz Canonas handles commercial traffic along with Leah Resendez. Our broadcast engineer, Sam Walters. Our statistician, Walter Stoops.
Welcome, everybody, on Spurs React.
Monday night, that game will tip at 8 o'clock. We'll be on the air at 7:30 with Spurs Radio Game Night. As always, for all things Spurs, follow us on Twitter, Spurs.com with the Spurs app. Our studio producer this evening, Mike Bartlett. Our studio host, Chris Duel. This is Bill Schoening. Thank you for joining us this evening. Big win for the Spurs as they defeat the Golden State Warriors, the best team in the NBA. 112-107. Spurs over Golden State. This has been a presentation of Spurs Sports and Entertainment and the National Basketball Association. All rights reserved. Good night, everybody.
Spurs Radio Game Night Rewind has been brought to you by AT&T. The game we live for, the codes we live by, and by
Peter Villarreal. Yes, Peter. In Pop we trust. You know, some of these Spurs naysayers, and I know, you know, they're Spurs fans, most of them. Some are just trolls. I think we got at least one in here tonight. It's so easy to say, oh, man, you guys are 4-13, which, oh, by the way, now I think we're 8-13 after those 4 in a row. But it's so easy to just assume. And every team goes through that peak and valley where every dynasty, Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan, every New York Yankee dynasty, the Landry Cowboys, the Jimmy Johnson Cowboys, every team goes through it. You have to go young again after having veterans because Father Time is undefeated. And the Spurs did that and have done that. Here we go.
We're going to Spurs ring 100 WOAI.
25.
Looking from the left side, Derek White. Penetrating the baseline. Out of the wing, it is Murray. Murray against Wiggins, drives him inside. Runner. Good for DeJounte Murray. He's got 23 in the Spurs League. 110, 106.
Listen to this.
Timeout, Steve Kerr.
Listen.
Come out to play. Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Michael Bartlett with the brilliant soundscape stylings. Warriors come out to play and lose to the San Antonio Spurs tonight. 112-107. This is Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. I'm Chris Duel along with Michael Bartlett. And what a great victory for the San Antonio Spurs. They beat the team with the best record in the NBA. They make NBA history by busting 2 10-game winning streaks back-to-back at Portland and tonight at Golden State. Oh, by the way, they did that back in 1993, and no other team has ever done that. Spurs have won 4 in a row. Spurs are playing their best basketball of the season, obviously. A lot of people who have been criticizing Greg Popovich and the San Antonio Spurs team may want to think twice about that. You are welcome to join us on Spurs React. A phone number, if you're in the San Antonio area, is 210-737-1200. If you're outside San Antonio, there's an 800 number. We pay for the call, 800-383-WOAI. This Spurs game tonight, it ebbed and flowed, and for a while in that fourth quarter, it sure looked like this young Spurs team was going to let it get away because the Spurs, who had led at one point by 22 points, and the Spurs led by 11 going into the fourth quarter, but there was a long stretch where the Golden State Warriors came back. Golden State took their first lead with 2:40 to play at 104-103. The Spurs had gone ice cold in the fourth quarter, and a lesser team would have let this one get away, but the Spurs did not. If you've been listening to Michael Bartlett, if you've been listening to me all season long, when the Spurs were fighting hard against these very good teams and playing hard for 4 quarters and never getting up, yet losing some close games against very, very good teams, we've told you the Spurs will eventually find a way to close these games. And for the last 4 games against very, very good teams, the Boston Celtics, the Washington Wizards, the Portland Trail Blazers, and now the team that had the best record in the NBA tonight, the Golden State Warriors, the Spurs have closed. The Spurs have won. 2 of those were at home. 2 of those were on the road. And 2 of those busted 10-game win streaks. And the San Antonio Spurs have won 4 in a row as they defeat the Golden State Warriors tonight, 112-107. We are streaming live video, as we always do, on 1200 WOAI's Facebook and Twitter pages. You're welcome to join us there. Before I go to the phone lines, and we'll certainly go to Michael Bartlett tonight to get his thoughts, just want to give you a couple of numbers from tonight's game from the Spurs side. First, number one, let's look at Steph Curry. Steph Curry started slowly, but then he caught fire. Steph Curry finished with 27 points, but he had to work for it, and that was credit the Spurs defense. Curry was 7 of 28 from the field. He was 5 of 17 from three-point country. He had 8 rebounds and 5 assists. So Steph Curry was good, but the Spurs made him work for every point. And that was a key to victory for the Spurs tonight. Meanwhile, for the Spurs, Derek White and DeJounte Murray, they've been doing this lately. They've both been on fire. Derek White with 25 points, DeJounte Murray with 23. Oh, by the way, Lonnie Walker had 21. Derek White, 25 points, 3 assists, 3 steals. DeJounte Murray, a double-double, 23 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. And Lonnie Walker, who had 18 at halftime, finished with 21 points. He was magnificent off the bench, especially in that first half. Spurs beat the Golden State Warriors 112-107. Let's go to the phone lines. Then we'll go to Michael Bartlett. Phone number 210-737-1200. Let's start with Joe. Joe, you're on Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. Welcome, Joe.
Hey, Chris. Thanks for having me. Rock on. Is this a trend that we're going to see? I hope where it's going to be Murray and Derek White putting up like 20 or, combining. And then we have that third person. The other night, maybe it was Forbes, tonight Walker.
Thank you, Nick.
And then I remember saying after the first game, the Orlando game, where they blew them out, that the NBA, they need to be ready for this team because they are dangerous. That's my opinion. Go Spurs, and to all the haters out there, go Spurs. Thanks, Chris.
Joe, great call as always, man. We love your phone calls. Joe, you make a great point because this has been happening during this 4-game win streak. Your 2 guards, DeJounte Murray and Derek White, have been like Batman and Robin for the San Antonio Spurs. And it's been going back and forth. One guy scores a little more. DeJounte often gets a double-double, flirts with a triple-double, which he did tonight. DeJounte 23, 12, and 7. 3 more assists, and he would have had a triple-double. Derek White with the 25 points tonight. And with this young team, that's kind of what happens. You find out who is going to emerge as our go-to guys. And right now, that answer might be DeJounte Murray and Derek White. And, oh, by the way, honorable mention tonight to Lonnie Walker with his 21 points. Back to the phone lines as the Spurs win their 4th in a row, their biggest win of the season so far. They beat the Golden State Warriors 112-107. Let's go to Homer. Homer, you are on Spurs React on 1200 WOAI. Welcome, Homer.
Hey, good evening, guys. Glad to be listening to the game, watching the game, and defeating the Warriors. Beating those guys is like winning the NBA Finals. I do want to make one comment. Back in '99, when Tim Duncan was in the second season, we had lost to the Utah Jazz at home in the Alamo Dome. And Mario Elie got in David Robinson's face and I think pulled his jersey and screamed at him. I got to make this comment. After the Atlanta Hawks game a week ago, were there chairs thrown in there? Was somebody screaming at somebody? Because this Spurs team is playing angry right now. And Pop, he is playing angry right now. Go Spurs, go. I'll leave it all up to you guys. Thank you.
Homer, I love your call, and I love your historical reference. Mario Elie, who had such fire and was such a big part of that championship in 1999, because Mario Elie would light a fire under Tim and under David Robinson, and of course Avery Johnson, the little general, Sean Elliott. So many great Spurs on that team back in the day. Something has happened with this Spurs team, and you saw, and Michael brought this up to me as well, and Bill Schoening mentioned, when Steph Curry hit that shot at the end of the first half, it was just inside half court, and he jacked up a 3, and the Spurs weren't guarding him. Pop was furious and went running on that court, screaming at the Spurs for letting that happen. So, yeah, Pop has a fight, and I've heard some Spurs fans who don't know what they're talking about go, Pop just, he doesn't really have it anymore. He just, Pop just doesn't really care as much as he. Are you serious? Are you high? Let me go to one more phone call, then we'll go to Michael Bartlett for his analysis. Final phone call of Spurs React. We'll go to Morgan. Morgan, you're on Spurs React on 1200 WOAI. Go ahead, Morgan.
Yeah.
Booty!
It was a good game. Spurs were up 20 at halftime, and then in the second half, they made me kind of nervous, but Derek White made key plays to help the Spurs win. And then Derek White and DeJounte Murray are playing well. And then I think DeJounte Murray should get the most improved player or be an all-star.
And Morgan, I agree with both. Thank you for the phone call, and I agree with both things you said. He should be an NBA All-Star. Do the right thing, voters, and NBA. And, oh, by the way, Michael Bartlett brought this up. That doesn't happen unless Spurs fans rise up and vote in the NBA All-Star balloting and make a statement and get DeJounte Murray in. He is so deserving. And he should also be most improved player of the year. I've said this to Bill, and I've said this to Michael. The last on this win streak, DeJounte Murray, as good as he has always been, it's like there's another level he's taken it to. He has often kind of willed the Spurs to key baskets and to these wins. I mean, I've always known, and you've always known, DeJounte Murray has been a great point guard for the Spurs, but he's taken it another level higher in these last 4 games. Spurs beat the Golden State Warriors 112-107. Easily their biggest win of the season against the team that had the best record in the NBA, and you did it on their floor at the Chase Center in San Francisco. Let's go to Mr. Michael Bartlett. He is the Mr. Rogers of Sports Talk Radio. Kids love him. He just reminds you of Christmas. There's Santa, there's Mr. Rogers, and there's Michael Bartlett. It's always a beautiful day in his neighborhood, especially when we take down the Golden State Warriors. Michael Bartlett, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling a little hurt, Chris, because as I told you off the air, I think I pulled a muscle. I'm excited I got towards the end when DeJounte made that layup to basically kind of seal it. So I'm playing a little injured, Spurs fans. What a win. I mean, what a win. Right out of the gate, the Spurs were just throwing haymakers, throwing everything, uppercuts, and they got off and running, and it was pretty much they did not look back up until that fourth quarter where they could just not buy a bucket. It was horrendous how bad it was in that fourth quarter, where it was, I want to say 6 minutes without them scoring a bucket, much less a point. You and I were sitting there thinking, oh man, they're going to let it get away. They've played so well that they're going to let it get away. And as much as I despise Steph Curry, you still got to respect the fact that he can score points. And people will look at it and say, Steph had 27. It was a typical Steph night. As Lee Corso says, not so fast, my friend. The dude shot 7 of 28 from the field, people. 7 of 28. And from three-point range, he was 5 of 17. That is horrendous. Yes, he may have gotten 27 points, but he also cost his team 21 possessions where they could have possibly gotten a better shot instead of, oh, well, I'm going to be Steph Curry and I'm just going to throw something up because I'm Steph Curry, which he undoubtedly did quite a few times. He got a little too fancy, tried to do something cool or tried to do something slick instead of, I'm just going to take a normal shot, or I'm going to lay it up with the right hand instead of trying to do some trick shot. That's what happens when you try to become too fancy and you think you're bigger than the game. What else can you say, though, tonight? DeJounte, Derek, and finally, Lonnie Walker got out of his slump. Lonnie was an animal that first quarter, and he got out of his slump. And we've talked about it several times that on not just most nights, pretty much every night, everybody has to be on. The Spurs, main guys have to be on. DeJounte has to be on. Derek has to be on. Keldon, 15 points tonight, close to his average. You had McDermott come back, for his second game, 13, right around his average. So you needed that. I think it was Homer or Joe that pointed it out. We kind of need that fourth or fifth guy to kind of step up, and it was Lonnie. The other night it was
Booty. We'll give you a shout out, brother.
It was Bryn, but tonight it was Lonnie. Lonnie was off and running, got us going, and again they did not look back. So thankfully they managed to pull it out. Because if they would have lost this game, it would have been a heartbreaker. Just a heartbreaker. But, I mean, dare we say, Chris, have these young Bucks, have these young Spurs possibly have figured it out? And if that's the case, watch out, NBA.
I like it, Michael Bartlett. And you know what? It's funny that we played the Golden State Warriors tonight, Michael, because I've been using them as a template for months now, saying, if you go back to how the Warriors were built, they did it through savvy drafting and player personnel. They got Steph Curry, they got Klay Thompson, they got Draymond Green. And I know you regard all those guys as stars now because they are. And then, and they won 70 plus games before they brought Kevin Durant in to win even more. This is the way it can be done in the NBA. And you look at guys like Derek White and DeJounte Murray and Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell, who did not play tonight. These are young guys who are not household names yet, but they might just very well become stars in the NBA. Great analysis by Michael Bartlett. Want to give another shout out. I mentioned we've got Ofa Lin from Singapore in the house tonight on the live video feed. We've got Taro Kotani from Tokyo tonight on the live video feed. Booty Montano from the Philippines. We got the PI, baby. Philippine Spurs fans in the house. Want to thank all Spurs fans everywhere. Celebrate this tonight, Spurs fans. In Pop we trust. Gregory Charles Popovich, the greatest coach in basketball history. I said it. I believe it. He didn't have Bill Russell. He didn't have Michael Jordan. He didn't have Shaq and Kobe. He didn't have a big market. He's got San Antonio. And he doesn't have Tim Duncan right now. And he just knocked off the best team in the NBA with the best record in the NBA, the Golden State Warriors. 4 in a row for the San Antonio Spurs. Can they make it 5 in a row against the Phoenix Suns, who they lost to by 4 a couple of weeks ago? We'll find out Monday night. Join us on Monday night. We want to thank the great Bill Schoening for another masterful broadcast in his 21st year as the radio voice of the San Antonio Spurs. On-site engineer Sam Walters always does a great job for and with Bill. Veteran statistician Walter Stoops, and the man you just heard from, Michael Bartlett, who suffered an injury tonight. He pulled a stomach muscle leaping into the air as the Spurs won tonight. We'll see if he's listed on the Spurs injury report for Monday night's game at Phoenix against the Phoenix Suns. For Michael Bartlett, for Bill Schoening, for Sam Walters, for veteran statistician Walter Stoops, for all those gentlemen, let us rejoice tonight for the greatest Spurs victory of the year and many, many more to come. Final score from the Chase Center in San Francisco. Spurs 112, Warriors 107. You've been listening to Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI.
Welcome to iHeartRadio Communities.
Thanks, everybody. Patrick Burns, happy birthday on Monday.
Here's Ryan Gorman.
Thanks for joining us here on iHeartRadio Communities. I'm Ryan Gorman.
In Pop we trust. Go Spurs, go. Great victory. Thanks everybody for being here. Wow, what a great Spurs win tonight. Go Spurs, go. In Pop we trust. Phoenix on Monday, you're going down.